I wish someone had told me every single day for the past 3 years that I am not falling behind in life and I'm not stuck in life. There's a fear going around that's very common amongst young individuals, especially. And it's the fear of, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm not making enough progress. I feel like I am not, progressing in life. And the problem is that fear never really existed between people until social media made it a fact. Every time you go on social media nowadays, and it's what I had to face for the past 3 years, all I see is just young people living very lavish lifestyles and making so much money and they're making big moves. And I just begin to ask myself, like, why that person and not me? How is that person so different from me? And what really pisses me off the most is when I find out that most of these young individuals, they're way younger than me. Some people are 16, 17 years old and they're living very good lifestyles. And the problem is with that is that although it could be motivating for just a short period of time to watch people succeed in life and be like, I also want to do more. In the long run, you get to realize that it's very depressing the more you watch these people. Because next thing you know, when nothing is working out for you in life, you begin to compare yourself to those people. And eventually we just go down this negative loophole of just feeling depressed about our lives because we're not doing enough. We've reached a state where a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old now thinks that if I am not rich and a millionaire by the age of 18, I am a failure. Like, in what world is that even normal? Like, what made this normal? Everybody has been so brainwashed into thinking that you need to succeed fast and you need to get rich fast. But here's something that you should know if you have that kind of fear. You are not falling behind in life. You are not meant to be rich by the age of 18 or 25 even. You're not meant to be a multi-millionaire very soon. You're not meant to really just push yourself every single day to be great in life. I think everybody must understand that you need to just go with the flow. Like, it's sometimes good for us to just let go of everything, do the necessary part on our behalf, which is, taking action and making sure we have goals and dreams and taking action after those dreams, but never really attaching so much importance to those dreams and letting God fulfill on the outcome. I feel like the more we just do our part of creation, which is seeing what we love most and do what we love doing most, and then just going day by day, feeling good and doing good and letting go of the outcome, the easier life gets for us. But the more we try to force things to happen and try to push for things to happen, because we feel like we're not doing enough and that we're behind in life, we never really end up achieving anything. Instead, we actually end up attracting and condition ourselves to just live miserable lives. I want to tell you a little story on how that fear of me being behind in life made me go through a lot of troubles. In 2022, I was forced to move back in with my mom and brother after I had lived with my father for a few years. And the reason why I had to move back in with my mom and brother is because my father was no longer in a position to provide for me. What happened was one morning I wake up, and it was in May, okay? It was in May of 2022. One morning I wake up thinking that this would be some other normal day. And at the time I was 17 years old. And usually I spend my days just hanging out with friends, doing what I love doing most, which at the time was making videos on TikTok. And I wanted to take this thing to a whole different level where I get to prosper on TikTok and, make a lot of vlogs with my friends. But one morning I wake up thinking that this will be some other normal day. Little did I know that this will be the last day I see my father for a long time. I still haven't seen him. But what happened was, it wasn't like a health problem or like he got into a car accident. He went to prison. My stepmother comes to my door, like my bedroom door, and knocks on the door. And then I open the door. She's like, security wants you to go downstairs to pick up some bags. I'm like, why does security want me to go downstairs? And then she looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, your father just got arrested and he's going to prison. And I thought to myself that maybe he'll be out in a week or two. Like, it's not going to be one big of a deal. Turns out that my father would be in there for a long time. So of course now I had to pack up my bags and move back in with my mom and brother at the age of 17 with no future ahead of me. I didn't have money to my name. I didn't have a future ahead of me because I didn't have education. So basically I had to build myself from the ground up. So what I did was, after I moved back in with my mom and brother, I decided to kind of just take a look on what are some things that I could do to start making some money. And my first ever venture was me starting a business where I help businesses with marketing. Because in 2022, if you remember anything about 2022, there was this epidemic of this is how you make money and this is how you should get rich by starting this certain business model. So I fell for one of these so-called business models that would make me rich, where I would help businesses with marketing. So I started a marketing agency with the hopes to use it as a vessel to kind of just, make money through it. And for 6 months of me working on that business, I didn't make any money really, because I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was just going and dabbling around every single day trying to sign my first ever client. But then on the 7th month of me running that business, I signed a client for $14,000. However, I didn't really like the business because I was competing with so many people, like newbies and professional people, to the point that it didn't feel right for me to keep running the business unless like I had some unique angle to it, or I had a big team that I could pay a lot of money for to deliver on large services. So eventually I shut down that business, and with the money I helped pay for my father's lawyers to get him out of jail for some time, just to see what we can do to kind of start to fix things. Of course, as time went on, things didn't really get any better. Now, of course, I was doing all of that when I was still 17, 18 years old. So at that time, I didn't really think that I was behind in life. But it kept getting worse. Each day, I would go on social media and everybody would be like, you need to get rich fast and you need to get rich quick and you need to buy cars like me and live like me. And if you want to learn to be exactly like me, buy my course, buy my course, buy my course. I'm like, whoa. I need to get on this. I need to get rich fast. So I started to like dabble around with a bunch of other things to make more money. And eventually that got me nowhere until like a year later, I started a business where it didn't have to do with me following the footsteps of other people. What took me from being a person who struggled financially to somebody who's somewhat successful. I'm not that rich and I'm not like, that successful, but I do run a business now where I'm able to support my family and support myself every single day. And I make good money for myself every single month. I don't want to really disclose how much I make on this podcast that we're having. But the main point of me telling you this is because what took me from somebody who struggled with the mental beliefs of I am not doing enough in life and I'm falling behind in life to somebody who's doing somewhat okay in life is by me cutting out the noise. Like what took me to become a person who is somewhat fulfilled in life is me cutting off the noise and telling myself that nothing online is real. Nothing online matters. But the more I keep putting my attention on the people who make these videos and give out these advices and tips, the more I let outside opinion control my reality. And the last thing you would need if you want to live a good life and a happy life and a fulfilled life is let opinions on social media tell you exactly how you should live life. So what I had to do is I had to just sit down with myself and really do inner work. Like most of my battles were mental. Like it had nothing to do with my external environment. Sure, my father was in prison and my mother wasn't able to provide for us. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I knew if I wanted to win that game, if I wanted to win that so-called battle, I had to really just work on myself, because I understood that if I can just win my mind and be able to control it, surely things will start to get better for me. And I was right. Everything started to flow from me the moment I began to let go of outside opinion and shut down importance. Like I just told myself that nothing is important. I'm just going to do my part, live day by day, set good intentions, and try to do my best to just feel good. Because the more I feel good, the easier things get for me. But the less I feel good, the harder things get for me. So I really had to work on my mental health to begin to truly take the right actions in life to start to see opportunities come through. And I believe that I had to remind myself of every single day, it's that I am on my own journey and not everyone is meant to have it the same way. I'm going through certain struggles because God wants me to see things differently and he wants me to evolve as a person. So I should give thanks and bless my struggles, because if I just keep fighting my struggles and begin to really be like, why God, why me, why me, why me, then the more worse things get for me. But if I just keep blessing and changing my perspective about life and my circumstances and what I go through on a day-to-day basis, the easier life gets for me. And what I want you to understand is that you are doing just fine. Sure, if you're not taking action, then I recommend that you should get a plan or an idea of who you want to be and what you want to experience and go after it. See what lights your heart up and take action on it. But never, ever let this idea of I am not doing enough in life get into your head, because the more you keep dwelling on that thought, it becomes a belief. And if you know anything about life, belief always creates your reality. I don't want to get too spiritual in here, but what happens is every time you create a belief in your mind because you dwell on a certain thought or a certain idea, it influences you to take certain actions. And then these actions begin to reflect in your life in results, whether it be good results or bad results. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you should always be reminding yourself of good thoughts and really setting good intentions on a day-to-day basis, so you're always able to experience what you wish to experience and avoid what you wish to not experience. But it all starts by reminding yourself that it's never too late. It doesn't matter if you're 18, 19, 25, 26, 30. doesn't matter where you're currently at in life. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. The past doesn't exist anymore. It's out. And the future doesn't exist as well. What only exists is the now. And what matters is what you do now and who you wish to be right now and how you act right now and the intentions that you set with yourself right now. Because the moment you begin to intentionally select the thoughts and select the beliefs that you wish to embody and the beliefs that you wish to become and see reflected in the outer world, the more things will start to flow easier for you. Remember something, that the more you let outside noises, whether it be through circumstances, events, social media, close friends, close people, doesn't matter who it is, control your ways of thinking and your ways of feeling, you will always stay stuck in life. But the moment you always remind yourself that you are in control, the moment you can begin to change your life for the better. But again, it all starts by telling yourself every single day that you have all the time in the world and God is going to provide for the outcome. It doesn't matter how things will turn out to be. It doesn't matter when things will come. What matters is you taking action and setting high goals, not goals based off ego or based off what social media is telling you to do. No, goals based off on what you truly want to do and who you truly want to become. Because the more things resonate with you, and trust me, you will know when something sets right with you. Like if you think of a goal that lights some sort of excitement in your heart, it's your passion, it's your calling in life, and you should go after it. But you should let go of outside noise, because if you do the opposite, then life becomes more hard for you. But here's something that you must know as well, and it's that you must have courage and faith at all times. Most people underestimate the power of the mind, and I'm not being spiritual, I'm being like dead ass serious with this. Your mind has so much capacity to either make your life worse or better. You don't even understand. People underestimate their mind because they have been so deprived of the power of their mind just because they scroll on TikTok every single day and Instagram Reels every single day, to the point that they have become so brainwashed into thinking that they are essentially dumb. When in reality, your mind is so powerful that it could really do whatever you will it to do. You just need to practice your will and have the courage and tell yourself every single day that I can and I will. It doesn't matter how it's going to happen or when it will happen. Just always remind yourself that I can do this and I will do this because I am in control over my mind and body. And if I just practice my will and practice being aware of things, aware of how I think and how I feel every single day, the easier I can direct my mind and will to do what I want it to do, regardless of how big or small the goal actually is. So you must always have courage on a day-to-day basis that you can always do, be, and have whatever you want. And the second thing that you must do is faith. You need to have faith, not just in yourself. Yes, practicing the idea of you can and you will is very good because it really builds confidence in people. And the more you build confidence, the easier things get for you. But what matters most is you having faith in a higher power. I don't care if you don't follow a certain religion, but if you're the kind of person who thinks that I am the only one who can change my life for the worse or better, trust me, you will never be able to experience any good thing in life because you are not God in any way, shape, or form. God gave you a mind that you can use to create your dream life, but what He wants you to do is understand that there's a big power behind you, which is God, who can always provide for you anything that you need. Because the more you depend on God and be like, God, I know that every single moment you're with me, I know that you're here, there, I know that you're everywhere, I know that you're with me as I'm watching this, I know that you're with me as I'm doing and taking action. I know that you're with me through every single moment of my life. The more you will start to see ideas and things click for you much and much faster because God begins to fulfill your dreams and desires. And He only does that because He knows that you're depending on Him. And the more you depend on Him for things, the better things get for you. So yes, have faith in yourself and always practice your mind every single day to believe in yourself and create statements and affirmations and meditate and visualize and embody and create mental images of the ideal person that you wish to become and embody these mental images. So as you go through life, life can begin to reflect who you are becoming and the intentions that you're setting on a day-to-day basis. But also remember that every single moment you should always connect to the higher power through your heart. Always just sit with yourself and be like, God, I love you. Thank you for making me take action. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for making me realize things which I did not realize back then. Thank you for making me a smarter person. Please provide for me ideas and events that will help me reach my goal much faster. And the more you walk through that faith, the easier life gets. That's how I got to be fulfilled and peaceful in life. Sure, I'm not like a multi-millionaire or I'm not ultra successful, but I am doing my part in life, which is I'm setting goals where I get to run a good business and make good money and support my family and support myself and go to bed every night feeling peaceful. And I was only able to do that when I won the game of my attention. The more you focus your attention on social media and people's opinions, the more fear you build within you. And if you know anything about fear, the more you let fear control your ways of thinking, the worse life gets. So why let life control you when you can't control life? You must understand that you're so powerful to the degree that truly nothing, not circumstances, not people, not social media, can control your life as long as you do not let these things control your life. You have so much power to the degree of it doesn't matter how big or small a goal is, it can always be achieved, and it's always achieved. What requires is you taking your attention off people and begin to place it on yourself, on your goals, on who you wish to be. It doesn't matter how old you are or what you've been through, like I mentioned. What matters is who you become from this moment forward. So from this moment forward, I want you to begin to focus on yourself, to do the inner work, to let go of the outer battles and stop worrying about how things are turning out externally and begin to worry about what's going on internally. I feel like this entire conversation is more like spiritual, but trust me, to win the game of life, it's all internal. Like, it has nothing to do with your environment. And it all begins in here. Because, like I mentioned, your mind either has the power to make you feel good or make you feel bad. And it's up to you and your will to direct how the mind operates. Now, another thing that I want to tell you is, I don't think you should ever set deadlines for anything that you want to achieve. Because I feel like the more we set deadlines, the more pressure we give to things and the more importance we give to it. And if there's one thing that I learned throughout the past 3 years of me just trying things and building things and trying to figure things out, it's that the more importance you give to things, the opposite the outcome actually is. Like, tell me one time you set a deadline for something and you gave it so much importance and it actually turned out to be good. Or tell me this one time you wanted to make something so perfect and it actually turned out perfect. Probably never. I bet you $100 that you cannot think of a moment where you wanted things to be perfect and it actually turned out perfect. You should never, ever set deadlines, because I think the more you go through life and go with the flow and trust that God will fulfill on the outcome eventually, the less pressure you can have in yourself. And as a result, like, you will start to see like these moments where you're always in the flow. Because if there's one thing you should also understand, it's that the mind becomes to get blocked from creative energies the moment you begin to pressure it with ideas that you want to execute perfectly and assign so much importance to. The more you flow with things, the easier things go for you. Like, whether it be personally or professionally, it doesn't matter what you do. The easier you go on yourself and the easier your mind feels and is more in the state of peace and calm, the more you actually can begin to make things perfect without even trying to make things perfect. Like, you will start to see like things just click for you and things just turn out as you wish them to be without really trying so hard. So if you go through life conditioning the mind to always be calm and still and just do your part of just following your dreams, doesn't matter who you want to be. You can wish to be a YouTuber, a book author, or an actress, or an actor, or a musician, or a business person. Doesn't matter what you want to become. You can always achieve what you want to achieve, but it all requires for you to condition the mind to be still and at peace and trust God and trust yourself and do the right part and cut off attention from the outer world and only focus on your internal world, which is your thoughts and feelings and emotions and your beliefs. So then life can begin to unfold exactly how you wish it to unfold. And I want you to let go completely of the idea of time is running out, because there's all the time in the world. Okay, you are young, you are still full of life, you're still full of spirit. If you woke up this morning and you're watching this, there's life in your lungs. God made you wake up for a reason, and it's because there's more for you. There's more for you to achieve. So as long there's life and spirit in your body, then there's no reason for you to not achieve what you want to achieve and become who you want to become. So remember, the only battle that truly exists is within you. Don't fight your thoughts, don't fight your feelings, become an observer of your thoughts and feelings. Again, I think most people like default into this loophole of like, I am my thoughts, I am my feelings, and I don't know what to do about them. Like, I feel like you've become so identified with your mind and body to the point that you forgot your true essence, which is you are a soul inside of a human body. And I don't care if you're not religious or if you don't believe in that kind of stuff. It's true that your true essence is spirit and not flesh and bones. And the reason why you begin to suffer so much in life is because you identify so much with the mind that you forget that your true essence is peace and stillness. So if you let go of the idea of my thoughts are real and my fears are real, and you begin to condition the body and mind to be resonant with who you truly are, which is being whole, being at peace, being still, and feeling good all the time, you always achieve inner harmony. And that inner harmony begins to reflect in all that you do, in your actions, in your circumstances, in the events that you begin to experience in life. Everything begins to flow much easier and better for you the moment you achieve inner harmony. And it all begins by you letting go of the outside noise, focusing on yourself, your thoughts and feelings and emotions, setting the good intentions, setting the intentions to help you move through life. So sooner or later, you finally achieve the thing that you've always wanted to achieve. And you will realize that if you achieve inner harmony within like the next 2 months, you can take 3 years off work that got no results and turn it into a complete win within like the span of 6 months. And I speak from experience. Like everything that I'm able to achieve nowadays is solely thanks to me being able to condition my mind and body. And sure, it took me some time to master this, but trust me, the more you put in the work to condition the mind and body to work according to exactly what you want it to operate as, the better life gets for you in all ways, in your relationships, in your opportunities, in your health, in all ways that you could think of. Your life gets better the moment you achieve inner harmony. Now, I know I've been yapping a lot in this conversation, but I'm new to this. Like, I want to make this like a podcast, a simple podcast where I'm just chilling. I tell you, my problems in life and how I overcome them and how you can also do the same by avoiding what I did, like in mistakes wise, and being able to do the right thing to achieve what you want to achieve. I don't really have a name for this so-called podcast. I just call it Real Talk with Yusuf. So if you're interested in anything that has to do with like winning in life, overcoming battles, winning the mind, and building your dream life, and just really just simple chit chats here and there, then all I ask from you to subscribe. Let me know if you have anything from me that you want me to discuss on any of my so-called conversations, because I'm more than happy to answer all your questions, because I always say to myself that I get to grow in life when I help other people just like you grow in life. So please let me know how I can help you, and I am more than happy to help you.